Please remain on mute. We have a Q&A session at the end of this info session. So please hold your answers towards the end. But if you do have any questions, we do have a Q&A section in this info session where you can type out your questions. So asking a question, a Q&A will begin at the end of the presentation. Like I said before, please let us know in the chat section. If you have, excuse me? Hello, can you mute yourself, whoever that is? Please let us know in the chat section if you having any technical difficulties or difficulties hearing the presentation. To submit a question, please use the chat Q&A to write out your question or use the raise hand feature. See the photo right here. Once your hand is raised, the moderator will call on you to come off mute to give your response, which I'm the moderator, so I will call on you. Please put all questions in the chat/Q&A and we will address as many as possible. A recording of this presentation will be posted on our resource library and sent to you and anyone else who registered. Once again, welcome. Please stay on mute for the remainder of this info session.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Carlene. Good morning. Good afternoon, all. Welcome to the launch of IQEF 2026. On today's agenda, we're going to go over DCSEU and the different program offerings we offer here. We'll talk about income qualification for IQEF. Then we'll get straight into this year's IQEF overview, our budget timeline, and the different projects we'll look to tackle this fiscal year. And then we'll do a deep dive into how to apply, the required documents, what's expected of customers, what's expected of the contractors that will work on projects. And then we'll have a session where one of our lead engineers will discuss how we select our projects through our grading criteria. And towards the end, we'll discuss other opportunities from DCSEU. And at the end, we'll have a Q&A, as Carlene mentioned, so we can answer all questions to make sure everybody understands what we're looking to do in this fiscal year for IQEF, but also how we're looking to help all the residents and property owners in Washington, D.C. Before we get started, I'd like to pass it off to our Managing Director, Ben Burdick, for a few words.
Thank you very much, Shyam, and welcome everybody this afternoon. Really excited to have you here to kick off officially the Income Qualified Efficiency Fund for FY 2026. I see a lot of familiar names on the attendee list here, but I do want to go over quickly for those that are not familiar with the DCSEU, who we are, why we exist, and what we're here to do. So since 2011, we've been working across the district and with our main goal, just trying to make energy efficiency and clean energy more affordable, more accessible to every person in the district. Whether that be through our standard rebates for all customers, whether that be through a focused effort on helping low and moderate income residents, either through single family or multifamily affordable housing, lowering their energy costs, making clean energy more affordable and accessible, or to helping contractors gain the skills necessary to participate in this market. We run the gamut. We do a lot of different work. We worked with a lot of folks over the last 15 years or so. But since 2011, we've helped district residents and businesses generate more than I believe that number is now 1.5 billion in lifetime energy cost savings. So it's really having an impact. And without the folks on this call, those that are owners and operators and managers of multifamily affordable housing, contractors, trade allies here in the district, it's not possible without you. So we appreciate you joining the call today. And we're excited to go into a little bit more detail today just about this individual program, the Income Qualified Efficiency Fund. Just in terms of the DCSEU's goals, we have a number of different goals, and I think this is something that we always talk about. This is a very unique organization and unique contract, not just in this region, but in the United States in general, because not only are we looking to reduce overall energy consumption and therefore greenhouse gas emissions, While we do that, we want to make sure that district residents are able to take advantage of the work that we're investing in here. So in the form of green jobs for district residents. Local economic development, we want to make sure that local contractors, especially certified business enterprises, are able to take advantage and participate here. As I mentioned before, we want to make sure that we are making investments in affordable single and multifamily housing to the tune of at least 20% of our base contract funds being spent in income qualified property and projects and programs. And then clearly other pieces to this are renewables, combining renewable installation, which is not something that's covered under the IQEF program, but making sure that where we're incentivizing renewables, that energy efficiency is taking place alongside that work. And then doing that deep retrofit work, where some of these projects that we will move forward with in the IQEF program and have moved forward with in the past through the IQEF program, do help some of these properties meet their goals around building energy performance standards and really reducing deeply their overall energy consumption to the tune of at least 20% reductions across a 5-year period. So I will pause there, but really appreciate everybody joining us today. I'm really excited for Shyam and the team to go over the Income Qualified Efficiency Fund for FY 2026. We do have a little bit less funding than we have necessarily had in the past. I think all district agencies and district programs are facing this right now, but we do believe we can still make a huge impact working with folks here. So we appreciate you joining us today. I'm going to hand it back over to Shyam and the team here to walk through the IQEF program for FY 2026. And we really appreciate you joining us today and hopefully participating in this program this year.
Thank you, Ben. Start off, we'll go over some of our programs and the qualifications. Next slide. So here at DCSEU, we have a lot of different affordable housing and low-income programs. As you all can see on our screen right now, these are 5 different programs that all residents in Washington, D.C. can take advantage of. I know we are all here today for the Income Qualified Efficiency Fund, which is also called IQEF, but we also have our Low-Income Comprehensive. We have our Low-Income Energy Kits. We also have another great program, our Affordable Housing Retrofit Accelerator. And another program is our AHEP program, which stands for Affordable Home Electrification Program for multifamily buildings. I oversee 3 of the programs you all are seeing, and that's IQEF, Low Income Comprehensive, and our Energy Kits. I know we're all here to learn about IQEF, but before I get to IQEF, I would love for all the property owners and managers to be aware, to make them aware of our Energy Kit program. Our Energy Kit program is totally 100% free. Please go back. Our energy program is 100% free, as I was saying. We provide the only thing needed for to qualify for our Energy Kits program is to provide a rent roll that meets the AMI goals. And we will provide your residents with free air purifiers, power strips, smart plugs, and shower heads. Please reach out to me via email or call, and we can get the ball rolling to see if your property qualifies for Energy Kits. Again, it's a 100% free. Now, let's talk about IQEF. IQEF is one of my most competitive bidding process, where we work with projects only that are greater than $10,000 and above. If a project costs less than $10,000, it will not qualify for IQEF. This fiscal year, we're looking for a minimum of 30% contribution from property owners and managers. That means if a project costs $100,000, IQEF, meaning DCSEU, DCSEU will pay $70,000 of that $100,000, and the customer will be responsible for paying $30,000 to the contractor for the remaining work, for the remaining price of the project. Sorry. Next slide. To qualify for IQEF, 50% of all units must be occupied by households with incomes less than or equal to 80% of the area median income. For example, the rental limit for FY26 for 2026, as you can see on the screen, let's say a resident is in a 2-bedroom apartment in your property. That resident rent cannot be greater than $2,780. Before I go into the different documentations we use in IQEF to verify properties, I'd like to note that while we use rent rolls, tax credit letters, covenant letters, and Medicaid program enrollment, I know you all heard me talk about the different other programs under DCSEU. Please note that other DCSEU programs like AF, ARA, and for their multifamily buildings, they have either additional or separate income qualifications. So please don't think that income qualification for all programs the same. Again, any questions regarding that, please ask at the end or send me via email. But I would like to let everybody know that the most common document that we use to verify all properties is rent roll. But like I said, we also take tax credit letters and Medicaid program enrollment letters. Next slide. The importance of IQEF in the District of Columbia. As a Washingtonian, I've seen the impact we make in this city. Since 2016, IQEF was launched to not only make sure that we're doing jobs that promote clean energy or energy efficiency, but we want to make sure that DC residents, no matter of their income level, are left behind in the energy transition that's happening in Washington, DC. We're here to preserve properties and help them become better. And we want to make the quality of life for our residents in Washington, DC better, whether that's through public health and public safety, but also providing clean air and providing livable and energy efficient homes that can serve the residents in these properties. The green economy gets billions of funds every year, and we want to make sure that all DC residents, regardless of their income, is a part of this transition. Next slide, Carly. As Ben noted, as you know, all programs in DC this year have taken budget hits, but for this fiscal year, we have a 1.1 billion, I'm sorry, not billion, make sure I clarify that. We have a $1.1 million budget for this fiscal year. We're looking to do different projects measurements in the sense of HVAC upgrades, Energy Star certified appliances, doing refrigerators, dishwashers. We're looking to do advanced thermostats and lighting control. At this time, we will not be doing window installations. As I said earlier, IQEF is one of the most competitive process, and we look at this program and the projects in the sense of cost per saving. On the next slide, we'll go into better detail of how we look to grade these projects and what's expected. But please, the budget for this fiscal year is $1.1 million. And the different project types you see on the screen are the different type of projects we're looking to get completed this fiscal year. DCSEU approved contractors and property owners are who can apply. And we'll go more in depth about what I mean by DCSEU approved contractors, but those are who can apply for this fiscal year. Next slide, please. As we look to complete these different type of projects, like I said, which are HVAC, lighting, appliances, I have one of our lead engineers here, Michael Land, who will go into detail of the different efficiency requirements we're looking for in the sense of the different type of measurements and projects that we'll take on. This is definitely some information that's vital, not only to the customers, but to the contractors that are looking to complete these jobs. Michael Land?
Great, thanks, Shyam. I think this might be familiar to some contractors that have worked with us before, but some quick friendly reminders here. The purpose of these requirements is to ensure we're investing in long-term energy savings and also to help with quality assurance. You know, we can have more confidence in the performance of equipment when it's listed on Energy Star or DLC or AHRI. So please take note of the HVAC requirements. If a heat pump is serving an apartment, not a common area, but an apartment, we're looking for a 17 SEER2 minimum energy performance rating. For lighting, we're looking for at least 20% wattage reduction to achieve long-term savings, and it should be listed on DLC or Energy Star. Please note, because Energy Star has sunset its program for listing screw-in lamps, that we will not be providing incentives for in-unit screw-in lamps. That's because we expect that you could probably find an LED on the market pretty easily at this point. And then for any appliances, that includes thermostats, exhaust fans, water heaters, refrigerators. Please make sure they are Energy Star certified.
Thank you. Before we move on to the next slide, I would like to add, contractors, please, one thing we like to make sure that everybody knows that when we're doing an IQEF project is, please stick to the materials that we come to an agreement with. If we say a material has to be energy certified, that is what we're expecting when we look at it, when we look at the application and we look to perform our post inspection, that the material that we agree to is installed, not something different. Just wanted to add that in. Next slide, please. Let's talk about some of the key dates and deadlines for this fiscal year. The application for IQEF launched on December 2nd. We have our early bird submission deadline, which is January 16th. That means if you turn in your application before January 16th, you get an extra 10 points as we're grading the application. Please note the application close date for IQEF FY26 this fiscal year is January 23rd, 2026. I'll say that again. The application close date is January 23rd, 2026. There will be no extensions. If I get an application after the 23rd, it will not be reviewed. Decisions will be announced on which projects will be funded on March 20th, and contractors have till August 30th to complete the project. I want to repeat this and say it again one more time. January 23rd is the close date. Please try your best to get your applications to us before January 23rd. We are always willing to work with contractors and customers in any detail or information they need in helping them fill out their application. But no, the deadline will not be extended. January 23rd is the close date we'll be receiving application. We expect all applications to be in before 5 p.m. on January 23rd. After January 23rd, we'll be reviewing the applications and grading the projects, and then we expect a decision to be announced on March 20th. Contractors, you have till August 30th to complete these projects. And I want to say this before I go to the next slide. Please be very mindful of the timeline you give us of when you will complete these projects, because this year, there will be no carryover projects. If a project is not completed on time, we will pay out what was completed. We will not be carrying over no projects that are not completed on time this fiscal year. Next slide, please. How to apply. I'm going to start with our property owners. All property owners, if you are looking to apply for IQEF this fiscal year, please use our incomequalified@dcseu.com email and request a property walkthrough and project review with a DCSEU approved contractor. What will happen is you'll send us an email with the following information, which is the number of units on your property, the projects, a point of contact, the different types of measurements you'd like to be installed. And when I say measurements, I mean, what type of project are you looking to get completed? Is it a lighting? Is it a thermostat? Is it an appliance? Is it an HVAC project? Once you send us we send this information, my team and I will will connect you with potentially 2 to 3 different DCSEU approved contractors. And what will happen from there is you all will communicate to schedule a walkthrough. This is where a DCSEU approved contractor will come to your property, review the potential project, and see what you're trying to get done. And then from there, the contractor will provide you with a proposal. Property managers and owners, when you get these proposals from the different contractors that come out and do a walkthrough at your property, please review the proposals and select the best proposal that you would like to work with. Again, my team and I are available, and so is our engineering team. If you have any questions or you want to run by any questions of the proposal to us, we'll try our best to answer the questions. We do not show favoritism in selecting the contractor or telling you who to go with. We will just basically answer your questions around the proposal, and then you make the decision on who you like to work with. For DCSEU approved contractors, as you all are, I think everyone that's a DCSEU approved contractor has been working with us for the last 2 years now. As you all know, all we need from you is provide us with an application and the data intake tool for the different projects that you have opportunity for, and then we'll review those application and intake tool, and then get the ball rolling and sending that to our EC team for analysis and pre-inspection review. Before I go to our new contractors, I want to give a special shout out to our engineering team. We conducted a data intake tool info session a couple of months back. And when you guys get this slide, and if you go to the DCSEU IQEF website, you will see there's a link where you can watch an info session on how to fill out the data intake tool. Contractors, please note, we're being very detailed this fiscal year, as we always have. We are looking for the application and the intake tool to be filled out properly. Any missed fields that are not filled out or information that we do not receive will not be considered a complete application, and we will be reaching back out to you to let you know what's missing, so therefore you can update the application. Again, please watch the data intake tool info session so you can get precise direction on how to fill it out. We've updated the intake tool to make it more user-friendly and easier for our contractors to apply. Again, customers, we are expecting you to work with DCSEU approved contractors. For the contractors who are on this call that would like to become a IQEF DCSEU approved contractor, I think the RFQ will be reopening in either January or February. More information is on that is to come. Please reach out to us via email at incomequalified@dcseu.com for more information. But I do believe in January or February, the RFQ will be open, and we'll be taking on applications for new DCSEU approved contractor. Before I move to the next slide, the one thing I want to just highlight on this section, IQEF application and the data intake tool must be filled out to expectation for us to consider it a submitted, fully filled out application. And we are advising all contractors, please watch our data intake tool info session to understand how to fill out the intake tool. Next slide. Selection criteria. Unlike our other programs, IQEF focuses on projects, cost, and saving. We are really looking at energy savings per project. This is a new year where we're going to be really focused on cash per metric ton. And those projects, the best yield energy saving projects will receive preference. We're also looking at matching funds contribution. Our minimum is 30%, but the higher contribution a customer provides, the greater incentive and preference that they will receive with our points as we're when we're grading the application. Projects with property owners or contractors that have active CBE will get preference in this fiscal year. Again, early submission, CBE preference, and project cost effectiveness will be key factors in us choosing projects. And the early submission date is January 16th. And the application close date is January 23rd. Next slide, please. So as I said, we focus on energy and cost saving on our projects when we're reviewing projects for IQEF. I'm going to pass it to Micah Lance so she can go over our scoring guidelines. This is the first year we're making this external facing for customers and contractors. So therefore, we want you all to be aware of how we look at projects and how we're grading them. Micah Lance?
Yeah, thank you, Cheyenne. So you can find these scoring guidelines in greater detail on the very last page of the IQEF application. So if you want to see more detail there, this is a shorter summary. And Cheyenne just went over all the criteria on the previous slide. So this is repeating that with a little bit more information, and I'll go over the emission savings piece, which is where you can get the max points. So we're really looking for cost-effective emission savings. So more savings for less money are going to get more points in short. And we're using an emissions metric, as Cheyenne said, metric tons per equivalent CO2 savings rather than just an energy metric. That allows us to capture multiple types of savings all in one for one measure. So that includes gas savings, electric savings, and even leakage savings from refrigerant that has low global warming potential, because different technology types come with different costs per emission saved. So for example, a lighting upgrade would be cheaper and you'd get more savings per dollar for a lighting upgrade than for an HVAC upgrade. We have different criteria for different technology types, like you can see here. So just as an example, if we would take the total cost of a lighting project, divide that by the expected emissions saved from the upgrade, from reducing the watts per fixture for each lighting type. And if the dollars per emission saved are less than $600 per metric ton of CO2e, then we would allot 40 points. So that would be the max points. If you ever have questions about how your project is scoring for emission savings, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're happy to share those details. All right, that's all I have, Cheyenne. Yeah.
Application expectations. So in the past years, we've had applications that were not fully up to standard, and we want to make it known what our expectations are, but also to let everyone know we're here to help if you have any questions in filling out the application. We want to make this a seamless process for everybody involved. So with application, our expectations are we're looking for a signed application, not only by the contractor, but the contractor and the customer. We're looking for a fully filled out data intake form. We're looking for specification sheets with all measures. We're looking for photos of existing equipment. We need clear and detailed photos for our ECs to review. We're also collecting, as I said, spec sheets for all the measures that are going to be installed. We will need the W-9 tax form from both the contractor and the building owner. As I said earlier, the most common document we receive in applications for income verification is a rent roll. We also need to see in the application what the customer contribution will be and the full customer information. If you have a fuel switch project, please note that we will need a Washington gas bill. I want to say that's in the last 12 months, within the last 12 months.
At least 12 months
12 months to,
and ideally 2 years.
yes, 12 months to 2 years if we're looking at a fuel switch project. Next slide. Contractors. Please work with us in all capacities. If a project needs a DOB inspection, that means we'll need the DOB permit and the inspection form before the work order expires. We need your help in working with us to schedule all inspections by the date outlined in the work order. Contractors, please pay special attention to the IA and the work orders. We draft these contracts, so therefore we know what the expectation and standard that not only we expect, that you are expecting. Contractors are expecting a certain payment, and we're looking to see a certain materials be installed. Please follow the work order to inform you and guide you for all the materials that are to be installed. If any materials were to be changed before the scope of work is executed, it must be approved by us before you purchase it / install it. Projects that are, please go back. Projects that are over 100K will carry out a mid-work inspection, meaning if a project is over $100,000, we will do a mid-inspection to make sure that you are aligned with our target date of expectation. So when the project is completed, and make sure that it's moving along smoothly. Contractors, as always, please communicate with me via email, phone, Teams, or in person, or even through our ECs if you reach them before me, of any problems, risk, or issues that you run into. Again, all projects must be completed by August 30th. We will not be carrying over any projects. So contractors, if you run into any issues early, please let us know so we can figure out solutions that work best for all parties involved. Next slide. All contractors, I'll repeat that again, must be under contract with DCSEU for FY26. If we will be reaching out via our legal team or ourselves to get insurance documents for contractors that we work with. And I said before, priority will be given to CDE contractors. And if you are looking to become a new DCSEU approved contractor, as I said, I think in January or February, our RFQs will be going out for where you can apply to become a DCSEU contractor. On our next slide, we'll talk about other opportunities around DCSEU, and I'll pass that off to Kaylin.
All righty. Hello, everybody. My name is Kaylin Roach. I'm just going to mention some information to you about a great program that is available right now for contractors, but also facility managers as well. It's called Train Green. This program helps contractors that are CBE firms or CBE eligible, district-based, as well as district residents, access free, no-cost courses in renewable energy design, clean energy, energy efficiency, and as you can see here, building performance, energy auditing, heat pump technology, decarbonization, sustainability, and green construction fundamentals. We have 14 courses that have just went live. There'll be these 14 courses are taking place within December and January, with some taking place in March, I believe, as well. But these are listed. So you can see we have ASHRAE Commercial Building Energy Audits course. That's going to be in person. We have several BPI courses as well. We have some building energy performance. Hold on. We've got somebody off mute, and I'm muting them now. There we go. Sorry about that. We have plenty of self-paced courses for people who are busy and need to work at their own pace. Some lead GA courses are virtual and in person, as well as some passive house, net zero building concept, self-paced courses, and a retrofit lab course as well. Please do. There's courses for all different levels of people who throughout their professional careers. The one thing that we do ask is that you make sure you sign up for your access code for FY 2026 to get access to get a code that will allow you to register for the specific courses. All that can be found at dcseu.com/train green. And again, that's 14 courses today. We also have a little resource at the bottom of that page that tells you how to train green as well, which is following those steps to getting your access code and making sure you're planning your schedule properly to get access to the proper courses. And with that, we can go to the next slide, to the Q&A. And Carlene, actually, I think I'm going to stay on because this is a bit of a complex Q&A. And I'm gonna do facilitation. So thank you
Okay.
everybody for answering or asking questions. I'm gonna go back from the top all the way through, and we're gonna work this thing out to get you guys all your questions. We have until 1 p.m., so we've got about 20 minutes to Q&A. Just calling out that I'm going to be getting throughout all of the written Q&As, right? And anything that came in the chat or in the Q&A, I will be getting through that first, and then I will be answering any voice questions. I may call on you if your question in the Q&A or chat needs clarification, right, to voice it. But if you do want to voice a question and want to get in the queue, you should raise your hand, use that little raise your hand function that you see there. And that's how I'll know that you're in the queue. And don't put that hand down until you ask that question. But for that, I'm going to start all the way back up at the top. And I'm just going to address it because we had this question about 3 times. This is everybody who registered for the course or for the info session will receive access to these slides and the recording, right? It will be sent directly to your email that you registered with. However, it will also be posted to our resource library, and I believe I posted a link to that in the chat as well. All of our course or all of our info session recordings are posted to the resource library on the DCSEU website, but they're also always sent to your email that you register with. So thank you for everybody who asked that question, but I just want to make sure that's clear. And going to make sure that I get to that first question from Kevin. Hello, I'm a multifamily property owner that rents to less than 30% AMI tenants. Who do I reach out to for the low-income energy kits? I answered this in the chat. I'm going to repeat my answer. You can reach out to Cheyenne at incomequalified@dcseu.com, or you can reach out to his direct email, which is on the next slide, Carlene, if you want to flash it really, really quickly. And there it is, bing, bang, boom. His contact info is on the slide deck for you to get to access him. So you can go back to the Q&A slide, Carlene. Thank you. Keeping it moving down, I see a question from Ali that says, can multifamily property owners participate in 2 programs at once for separate properties? Yes, I think that's a fairly straightforward question. 2 programs for separate properties. So property A in program A, property B in program B. There's more nuance to that if your question is more complex, but from what I'm reading, that is the answer, and I'll pass to Cheyenne or Michael Ann or anybody else from the DCSU if they want to add any context to that question. But I think that's fairly straightforward.
That was straightforward.
All righty, gonna keep us pushing. Looking down from Kyle, do you have any additional heat pump replacement incentive programs that you can recommend to supplement IQEF and help funding go further? I'll preface this context for Cheyenne and Michael Ann if they want to provide the answer, right? I believe the context of this question is asking is around the crux of that 30% and 70% split. So if Shyam, if you could expand, or Michael, if you have anything to add too, please feel free.
Yeah, my first thought is because unless if it's for a heat pump replacement specifically, those that funding can be tied to energy savings, which means we couldn't, double dip. So like you wouldn't be able to apply online. Yeah, those are separate programs. So if you participated in IQEF for a full heat pump installation, you wouldn't be able to get any other rebates for those heat pumps. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely correct. Thank you, Michael Land, for that. And go ahead, Shyam, did you have anything else?
I know Kyle also, depending on how many units are in that property, as I said earlier, if it's 20 plus units, definitely I think we're an option. If it's less than 20, I think AHAP is a good option for the property as well. I think Kyle's more than 20 though.
Okay.
Thank you, Kayla.
No problem. Thank you. And thank you, Kyle, for that question. Going to jump over into the Q&A really quickly. This one, I'm going to try and read it. This was from Mitch. Will tuning up an HVAC system, I guess that isn't cleaned and optimized, be incentivized? So I'm guessing they're asking through IQEF, is there opportunity to fund an HVAC system cleaning and tune up? And I think I know the answer is no, but I would like to pass it to you. There you go.
Yeah, typically no, I'm sorry, because if it's typical maintenance that kind of should have been happening, we can't provide an incentive for that. This might be related if you are operating your equipment at a certain setting. Let's say you have the common area set to a certain temperature and you decide to operate things differently, maybe lower the temperature a bit in the wintertime. That's an example of a controls measure where you change the operations in a way that we could provide an incentive. But if it's regular maintenance and cleaning, we typically cannot provide an incentive for that.
Thank you, Michael Land. And thank you, Mitch, for your question as well. And I'm going to keep us pushing. And I see that Raquel had a question in the chat, and I'm making my way down. I haven't forgot about anybody, and I see more questions coming in. How quickly will DCSEU provide owners the contractors that can be contacted? I'll take a first stab at this one, and Shyam, I'll pass to you for further, like if somebody requests a walkthrough through the DCSEU. The IQEF contractors are posted on the DCSEU website. All current IQEF contractors are posted on the DCSEU website. There's nothing stopping you from reaching out to those contractors, right, yourself, because you will likely have to work with them to apply for IQEF. So you can definitely reach out to them yourself to work with them directly. And I think I saw Carmen throw some of her information in the chat as well. But you can also definitely still request a walkthrough with the DCSEU before you, if you want to be paired with a contractor by the DCSEU. But Cheyenne, please provide additional context there.
No, everything you just said right there was correct, Kaylin. The only thing I'll add, if some of our property managers or property owners are new to IQEF or maybe don't feel as confident in selecting your the right contractor to work with, when you send your information to us to let us know about your property and look what you're looking to get done, we look at your property and your project overall and align you with who we think are the best contractors that do that type of work. So if you're sending us an HVAC project, we'll look at the property and then we'll say, okay, let's send IELP, HBS, Global Insight to go do a walkthrough at your property. And from those three contractors, they'll all come do an on-site review of your property. And then once they submit their proposal to you, the customer, you pick which proposal best align with not only your goal, but your budget at present time.
Thank you, Shyam. And just to clarify, because I want to drill down on Raquel's question. So the DCSEU would provide, for the walkthrough, they would provide several contractors to do the walkthrough. correct?
Yes,
If they come to
yes.
us.
Yeah, we want to give you options we want to give you different options for you to select from.
And that would be fairly quickly within the process of them reaching out to you at income qualified at DCSU.
Oh yes, definitely. I'm always a sometimes 10-minute or 5-minute response type of guy.
All righty.
Yeah.
So please do, Raquel, reach out to Cheyenne, and he'll get back to you very quickly. Gonna keep us pushing. Another question from Mitch. It was some confusion about the IQEF timeline. I'm gonna post it in the chat as well, just so everybody can see it. But I did respond to this question in the Q&A, just so everybody can see it there. That is the official timeline. December 2nd, it opens. Priority assessment or early bird application deadline, the 16th. The 23rd is when everything is due. And then you see there's decisions announced in March. IAs or incentive agreements or work orders issued April 1st. April 30th, everything complete, all invoices to the DCSEU. And thank you for that question, Mitch. Going to keep us pushing, and I'm trying to get us down all this big list. Raquel had another question that was answered by Michael Land. Nope, I'm skipping somebody. Excuse me, Takata, and I apologize if I messed up your name. We are the Ella Baker. I believe I spoke to Derica from Ella Baker and the community cooperative. But we are from the Ella Baker International Intentional, Community Cooperative. We have 4 addresses, and those are the addresses. We have a total of 15 units, and we have one affordability covenant. Would we need to do an application for each building or for the cooperative as a whole? Due to my familiarity of these are row homes, so these don't quite qualify as multifamily buildings that IQEF would serve, that the Income Qualified Efficiency Fund would serve. The only official affordable housing program that you saw on the slides that would serve that property is the Affordable Home Electrification Program for multifamily buildings. So that is likely the only route. And I think that we had somebody at the cooperative be in touch with. I know I put them in touch with somebody on the AHEB team. I don't know where that current process is, but please do. I'll reach out to you, Takata, just to make sure that this gets elevated internally with us to make sure that this moves forward. Does that sound fair?
What's your name?
My name is Kaylin Roach.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had the right name here. Oh, Kaylin. Okay.
Yes, and am I right, Miss Derica? I've spoken to Miss Derica before.
Yeah, Derica. Yeah, she's our board secretary, and I'm the board president. Okay. And so I was just trying to figure out, because we are affordable, affordable housing. Mm-hmm. We're a limited equity cooperative, so we're deeded as affordable housing for 100 years, and so I'm not sure why it's different than. You're saying that we would only qualify for the electrification program?
Just the number, because the buildings, because I know that you guys are row homes. It's a collection of 2 to 4 unit row homes. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Right. So that's the only reason why not through IQEF. IQEF is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Cheyenne, is only dealing with 20 units and up.
Yeah. Correct? If we go to the slide where we talk about the different program offerings, I said it during the call. If it's 20 units and less, it will go to AHEB. If it's 20 units and more, that's where IQF can
so the program qualify. What are you saying? What's AHEB?
Affordable electrification program.
Oh,
yes, and yep, AHEB. So Affordable Home Electrification Program. And I believe that Derica is in contact with a program manager from there, but I will make sure that you and her are put on one email thread, and we'll make sure that we're all on the same page. Does Does that
Yes.
does that work?
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking, but I wasn't aware of the IQEF, us not qualifying for the IQEF. The reason, yeah. Okay, I got it.
Cool,
Thank you
cool.
so much.
Thank you. And I'm gonna keep going down my list really quick. And I know it was another question from Raquel that was answered in the chat, but going to read it off really quick. So so DCSEU, who works through the emission savings based on the contractor's scope? And Michael Ann answered that in the chat, so I'm going to read that off, and then Michael Ann, feel free to come on and answer any further. Our DCSEU engineering team will do the emission savings estimates. And we're happy to share those estimates upon request. We will take into account the existing equipment and the newly proposed equipment, so long as the contractor takes into account the performance of the existing equipment and suggests more efficient equipment that follows the guidelines listed on the earlier slide. For instance, 17 SEER 2 for apartment heat pumps. Then generally, we should see savings. And Michael Ann, is there anything else that you wanted to add to that response?
Yeah, that's all. Let me know if there are more questions.
Perfect. Thank you. And I'm gonna move back over to Mitch's question in the Q&A. My client is taking over 3 properties on the first of the year. They need about 2 to 3 weeks to learn and know the property before we can go in and make recommendations. Why are we such a short time to find a project and fill out an application? So Cheyenne, I'll take this one at the beginning and provide any programmatic context. This is the reason for Cheyenne's urgency around that, especially the submission of all payouts and everything being done by August 30th. Is because this is potentially the final contract year of the DCSEU. There always could be an extension, but right now, all of our projects have to be buttoned up as tightly as possible for the end of this fiscal year. That is why you're seeing a timeline that is shortened. So that is my most direct answer that I can provide to that question, but I'll let Cheyenne provide any programmatic specific context rather than organizational.
That actually is it.
All righty.
You have to turn this. We have to utilize our budget and our funds to help as many projects as we can. And if not done before the 30th of August, those funds just go to waste. So this is why we're trying our best, to make sure we can do as much impactful projects as we can with what we have, with the timeline we have to work with.
Thank you. And I'm going to keep us going because I know, because I think we're out of the new, or there's actually a little bit more. One more question before I get to some voice questions. This was from Adam. Hello, how can we get the updated intake form? I do not see it on the website. I believe Michael Ann just answered that in the chat. Thank you, which is there's a how to apply section on the website where you can click on specifically the application link and download that. There's no intake form for IQEF. It's just an email and an application that you fill out and send. So that pretty much answers it. And I'm coming to people on the voice message because that is where we are in my queue. Now, Ronette, you want to come off mute, ask your question?
Good afternoon. I had a couple of questions. I'll try to make them very quick though. And some of the slides from this year and last year, I see that there's a preference for CBE. Is that for both the contractor and the owner, or only the contractor this year?
That's a good question.
More so.
There you go. Cheyenne is the authority there. It's like contractor more so.
Contractor more so.
You say more so, or?
Well, it really is just contractor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then how does the timing work? I saw in the slide like 50% if it's over 100,000, like a check-in. But how how do the contractors get paid, and how are the splits arranged? Does
Sure.
everybody get paid in August, or like?
So, okay, that's a great question. So let's look at it like this, right? Say we make a decision on March 20th. I tell client A, contractor A and client A that they've been awarded a project for 150K, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is, since we're going to be paying and when I say 50K is our 70% of whatever the total project cost is. The contractor, when they sign our IA and work order, will be paid post-inspection. And post-inspection, that means once they say the project has been completed, and let's say the project is finished in July, if our engineers do a post-inspection and all the materials and what is expected to be done in this project is completed, that is when we will pay the contractor. Now, the 30% that the customer owns to the contractor, that has to be worked out between the contractor and the customer. We do not participate in that contract negotiation. And as I said, the project costs 150. Normally, if a project costs less than 100K, we'll just look to do a post-inspection at the end. But since we're paying 150K and it costs over 100K, if the project is going to finish in July, more than likely by late May to early June, really let's say May, we'll do a midway inspection just to see how the progress is going. Now, outside of that midway inspection, we do bi-weekly and weekly either meetings or email touch base with the contractor, where the customer is looped in the email thread as well, where I'm always asking for update. So let's say in the beginning, I might say, hey, the IA and work order have been executed. Can the contractor please provide a timeline of when they look to order the material? Materials will be delivered, when you look to start the project, and when you look to be finished. And like I said, in that email, the customer is looped in as well. So for visibility, so they can be aware of what's going on. My biggest thing as we're looking to execute projects is making sure we complete quality projects on time, and that we're all made aware of issues and risks that can deter the project from either finishing on time or issues that arise, whether it might be from the contractor's end or the customer's end. And I'm here to be a middleman to make sure we solve all issues, to make sure we do quality work to impact the residents in Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ronette. I know we have Rob, excuse me, not Ron, Rob, excuse me. You've been waiting patiently, so I do want to get to your question. And after Rob's question, I'll do a blitz through questions that I know I can answer very quickly if some of these people are still on. And then we'll call it a day after about 103, 104, 105. But Rob, please come off mute and ask your question. I see you're off mute, Rob. Are you talking? Can't hear you yet. I'm assuming that you might be talking, but we can't hear you.
Yeah, oh no, we can't hear him.
If we can't hear you, Rob, yeah, you came off and on, so I think you might be having some mic troubles. I'm sorry about that. Could you email those questions or put them in the chat really quickly? I would suggest email to Cheyenne, so he can get back to you with the question. But I don't know if we'll be able to troubleshoot this really quickly. But so sorry about that. Yeah, it's not working.
Oh, is he trying to show his screen? He wrote down something on a piece of paper. Do you mind trying to show it again?
Hold on, let me find him. Let me see. Yes. Rob, show what was the question that you wrote down? I'm looking at your screen now. Never mind. Okay. All right. I'm sorry about that. I know. I'm so sorry. My apologies there. Um, I'm going to very quickly look at some of these. There was a question about, I'm going to take us to 105 and then we're going to have to close it up, unfortunately, but we'll take a look at these questions and may address some of them in our email back to folks with the slides and the recording. But as what's the maximum DCSU contribution per project? 70% is the DCSU contribution, 30% is the customer's contribution. As a property owner, what other documents will suffice for for income qualification other than just rent roll or covenant letter? Tax credit letter is the additional one. Medicaid program enrollment form, and if you have something in your company annual report. If you are a federally approved clinic, there is an approved clinic list on the DCSEU website as well. That's my quickest answer, but there are more details about that in the presentation. Thank you, Michael Ann, for answering that question about utility bills in the chat. Hockey Johnson, I see for this one, I'll answer very quickly. I think this might be the last one. For co-ops, is it required that each individual unit need to apply for IQEF as they're all technically the owner of the building? Is it possible that the landlord could apply on behalf of all the tenants? Now, I'm going to do a little bit of assuming that this building is above this building is above 20 units, right? I do believe that 50% of all of the households will still have to individually income qualify, as there is no such thing as a rent roll for for a co-op or condo building. So that is going to be the kind of litmus that kind of makes it difficult for co-ops and condos to participate in IQEF, is that we still have to make sure that the building is 50% income qualified. That would have to be through some mechanism of individual income qualification, not application, but qualification. That becomes very difficult because we would lean very much so on the co-op or condo board to do all of that work. We meaning the program team. And I think that's probably there would be no application that they would have to do other than providing details that would prove that they are income qualified. And there are different sets of income qualified documents that they would have to provide to show that they're income qualified individually. And that would have to add up to equal to 50% or greater than the occupied units in the building. Rob, I saw you were working with the mute button was working, so I don't want to leave you without being able to ask that question. Okay, now try. There you go.
Okay. First of all, the chat has not been working for me all meeting. Secondly, the main display showed the mic working, but it turned out it was the wrong mic. I ran a similar program 50 years ago to encourage people to use communication satellites. Oh, yeah. And I hope you will make that training that you have available to the whole country.
He's so cute. Look at him.
But I am way too small to qualify for the IQEF. Has there been or can there be a similar training program for AHEP? And my biggest problem, I've been working on this since last May, has been finding a good contractor. Can you provide a list of your approved contractors?
Yes. So how big is the building, Rob?
Used to be 7, now it's 2 on the way to being 3.
Okay, 2 to 3 units.
Yeah.
So that's the only program we have is AHEP. That's gonna be up that alley.
Yeah, I know that now.
AHEP provides contractors. So let me put in the chat really quick. If you don't have access to the chat, you said, can you see the chat?
Yeah, but I've got a note saying chat is only available during the meeting.
Okay, yes. Okay, that that is correct. But let me get you really quickly to, let me get you the AHEP multifamily page so you can see all of the contractors on that page. So there are, just like I mentioned, that there's
send the
contractors on
link.
the IQEF page. Right here, here's the link. There it is in the chat right there. But at the bottom of that page, you can see all of the contractors for AHEP multifamily buildings. So that's where you can see all those contractors. You, as the potential owner of that building or person who sits on the board, right, of that building, I'm not sure, right, you can apply for AHEP for multifamily buildings online. You can start that process now. There is a notice on that application, and I encourage you to read it because we do have a wait list for that program right now.
I applied months ago.
You applied months ago, so you're
Yeah, and I kept trying to find out who to talk to down at DCSEU, and they sent me to you. So,
alrighty. So you're gonna, I have two people that I need to connect on, you and Miss and Takata, excuse me. So I will make sure to follow up directly with you and Takata on making sure that the AHEP team works with you all to resolve this.
good.
Does that sound cool?
Thank you very much.
All righty. And thank you again, Rob, for your patience, and apologies for the technical difficulties. But with that, everybody, we're 9 minutes over, so I apologize that we couldn't get to every question, but we'll do our best to cherry pick some of the questions that are a little more complex and see if we can get some answers out.
Kaylin,
yes.
one last question that I think
right.
you missed, and I'm sorry. Is there a cap on the scope of work, a dollar cap on the application? If we need $2 million worth of work, and obviously you've got a 1.1, we're going to exceed. So is there a cap on what we can request or specify?
Cheyenne, I'm gonna pass.
I got our budget for the fiscal year is $1.1 million.
Right.
That means that 1.1 has to go to as many projects as possible.
Okay.
I think
it becomes self-evident, right? All right.
I think still apply. Don't stop yourself from applying with what you need.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raquel. All righty, everybody. But thank you all again, and thank you to Cheyenne, Michael Ann, and Ben and Carlene for ushering us through this session, and thank you to you all and the contractors and property owners for being here today. Again, you'll receive these slides, the recording afterwards. Rob, you'll hear from me. Takata, you'll hear from me. So thank you all again, and have a great rest of your day, and happy holidays if you don't hear from us before then.